Welcome to Washington in Focus. I'm Brett Davis. Joining me today is the Center Square's Western Washington reporter, Spencer Pauly. This week you penned a story headlined, King County's Homeless Authority CEO steps down after 2 years. Marc has announced he's leaving the position as CEO of the King County Regional Homeless Authority. Why is he stepping down after a relatively short tenure?
Well, he's stepping down all of a sudden because he calls the CEO role a relay race, but he said his time was more of a sprint. So with that being said, he's watched members burn out and not contribute as much as they could. And he said he wants to avoid the same. So he is resigning as of next month.
So I guess 2 years is a very stressful amount of time to be on that job.
To deal with the homelessness crisis in Seattle, I would say that's pretty fair.
So in his 2 years there, what were some of his major accomplishments? What did he get done?
That's where it gets a little interesting. For one, he employed 100 people within the Homelessness Authority since it began in 2021. He was able to resolve 13 longstanding homelessness encampments within the King County area. And he created an emergency housing voucher strategy to provide housing vouchers to people in need.
I see. Were there any controversies during his time?
Yes, there were. If you go way back to April of last year, Dones chose to use funding on other projects rather than on a tiny house village that was owned by the Low Income Housing Institute. This tiny home village would have sheltered about 50 to 60 people and needed the funds to open, and Dones decided not to. In the end, the village ultimately received the necessary funds from a private foundation grant to begin the services. Another one was for the 5-year plan that the authority is still working on starting next year. They proposed a price tag of $11.8 billion. As you can imagine, a lot of King County officials were not happy with that price point, especially
that's a lot of cheddar,
especially for the homelessness issue seemingly to get worse throughout the county. Recently, the authority has had other issues within its board, including its continuum of board care. I reported on this late last week, but the board's co-chair, Shanae Colston, is being asked to step down after she shouted down a fellow board member who spoke out against the appointment of a new board member who is a registered sex offender.
I see. So wait, she was mad that somebody was yelling about a sex offender being appointed to the board. She wasn't upset about a sex offender possibly being appointed to the board?
So maybe I should explain what exactly happened at a board meeting earlier this month. So when they were nominating and appointing new board members to the Continuum of Care board, this board is in charge of federal funds. When they were trying to nominate Thomas Whitaker, one board member named Christina Sawikaj said that he is a sex offender and that she has had bad experiences with in the past. This came in the midst of it, and Shanae Colston lashed out at Sawikaj for speaking out, saying that this is not the time to do it, which other than that, she continued to shout down and yell that everyone deserves housing and she doesn't care if they are a sexual offender. And the board meeting escalated and got out of hand.
Wow, this sounds like a more exciting than usual board meeting.
Yeah, and as a result, the King County Homelessness Authority said she needs to step down because she escalated it way too much and it was inexcusable.
So she needs to step down. What about what's the fate of the sexual offender nominated to the board? What's happening there?
So the board meeting was canceled after that. No nominations were appointed, and that includes Whitaker. So until perhaps next June, when the next Continuum of Care board meeting goes, no one's being nominated yet.
They're just going to leave that position open for that long of a period of time?
Unless they establish a new board meeting, yes. Because I've looked this morning, I don't see another board meeting scheduled until next month.
Next month, huh? Maybe you mean for another exciting board meeting.
Well, we'll see.
Probably some controversy they didn't need.
And I haven't seen that if Colston has stepped down yet. I keep looking just to make sure. But as from what I've seen, she is still on the board. So we'll have to see what happens.
Well, thank you for keeping us updated on this unexpected story. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com. For Spencer Pauly, this is Brett Davis. Please subscribe and thanks for listening.